Hello, I'm Pamela Windle from Smarter Change, and I help women to transition from perimenopause to postmenopause with ease. And I'm here today with Katherine. Katherine.
Hello there.
Hi,
Hello
Katherine.
there.
Good. Do you want to introduce yourself to us?
Yes, I'm Katherine Bellchambers, medical herbalist, and I work predominantly with women to help them manage the effects that their misbehaving hormones are having on their lives.
Fabulous. So today we're going to talk about what is perimenopause, because I think a lot of women are confused of actually what it is. So we're going to make that clear for you today.
Yeah, I think it's really important. We were talking earlier and we said that our mums don't necessarily prepare us for menopause. They don't necessarily prepare us for menstruation in the first place. But menopause is another mystery, and it's something that women haven't talked about in the past. So it's really important to change that.
Yeah.
And since menopause can happen anywhere, or perimenopause can start anywhere between sort of your late 20s up to your mid 40s, it's important to know what's happening, because if you need to take account of that in your life, for instance, if you want to think about having children, then it's important to know what the signs may be.
Absolutely. And the signs of menopause, I guess, or perimenopause that people talk about is the obvious ones, such as hot sweats, an inability to lose weight, insomnia, maybe mood shifts, alterations in mood as well. And they're not when you get to that point, your hormones are really on a decline. So it's before
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
happens, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. We know about what menopause is, but perimenopause, which is the point when you're moving from optimum fertility and you're starting to see a reduction in the number of eggs that are available to you, actually there is a sort of a slow change that happens that can have all sorts of effects. It can affect your mood. It can mean that your periods are less reliable. It can mean for a lot of women that they start to suffer from IBS symptoms that they haven't seen before, because estrogen has a protective effect on our heart, our gut, our brain, our skin, everything. There are all sorts of other things like dry eyes, maybe vaginal dryness, that we wouldn't expect to be part of menopause, but actually may be part of that changing hormone profile.
Absolutely. And progesterone, the drop in progesterone as well. Like you said, our mood can be altered, and you post PMS can be a lot worse as you get older, and there's that drop in progesterone, and a lot of women may be prescribed antidepressants, and it might not be that they're actually depressed. It could be hormonally as well.
And there are so many things you can do about that, but the trick is to recognize what's happening. It helps to know what the hormone curve is. I mean, day one of the period is day one of your cycle. And a theoretical normal cycle is 28 days. For most of us, it's anything from sort of 26 to 32, but it can go either way. If it's a lot shorter than that or a lot longer than that, that can really affect your fertility, because it's important that the two halves of your period, the two halves of your cycle, are actually balanced.
Yeah.
From the first day of your period, when you spread the lining of the uterus, around day 2, 3, you start an increase in estrogen, and that helps the follicle in your ovary to grow an egg. Day 14, in this theoretical perfect period, you release an egg, and you should be getting a sense of well-being, maybe devil-may-care. You're probably more interested in sex. It's a good time to, if you need to make negotiations, it's a good time to do that, because you're really standing in your power at that point. You feel invincible when it's at its best. Once you've released that egg, things start to change, because the estrogen drops off. And when the estrogen drops off, because the egg's been released, where the egg lived before is now called the corpus luteum.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow body, that means. I mean, Latin. Most of these posh names, they're just Latin for a description of what it is. So ovum, it's just egg. So anyway, your eggs released, goes along the fallopian tubes looking for a sperm, and while that egg's been building, the lining of your uterus has been starting to thicken up as well, so that if it gets fertilized, it's got somewhere to go and it can make a nest for itself and start to grow. You start to increase the amount of progesterone at this point, which should give you a sense of well-being. Your warrior hormone drops off, and then your nesting hormone, progesterone, starts to increase. So you can start to feel a lot better and sort of more relaxed. And interestingly, in the middle of your period, you're more attracted to bad boys. Towards the end of your period, when you're about to bleed, you're more attracted to sort of helpful, friendly chaps who are going to look after you, because it's the nesting hormone. When we move into the menopause, there aren't so many eggs there. So several things happen. If an egg isn't developing and you're not getting the normal messages to the pituitary, which is a gland that sort of lives up here, if you're not getting those normal messages, then it sends out a boost of a thing called follicle stimulating hormone to make you grow another egg. And that makes you, in turn, produce more estrogen. So you get more of that warrior hormone that makes you a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more of a tendency to be a bit more aggressive.
Yeah. So PMS, basically. Yeah.
And that's PMS. So you get the estrogen dominance, and also you may not be producing as much progesterone because you're not thickening up the uterus as much as you were. So you're not getting that balance. So you're not getting the feel good. So you get the grumps, and then you get the weepy bit. Yeah,
but no anti-anxiety hormone, which is progesterone, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if it's all going fine, then you feel wonderful. When things start to get out of balance, that's when you start to feel a little bit less happy with life.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, that is basically the transition from possibly the age 29 up to whatever age you are when you then become menopause, or the one day after your last period, and then after that you're 12 months without a period, and then you're classed as being post-menopause. Yeah, so
absolutely. You can forget about buying sanitary wear. I cannot wait.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. When I get there, I'll know, I guess. But so there's lots of things, in terms of being dominant in estrogen, and that creates a lot of issues, doesn't it, internally for the body. The body's trying to find balance again, isn't it? And so being estrogen dominance actually alters your mood massively, your weight, how you distribute that weight as well. There's also, as we were talking, there's xenoestrogens, isn't there? Which is foreign estrogen that binds itself to receptors of our own estrogens in our body.
Well, they're actually chemicals that look a bit like estrogen. Yeah. And some of them are quite a lot stronger than our natural estrogen. And also because some of them have, all molecules are made up of different branches. And because some of them will have some quite toxic branches attached to them. On the one hand, we get the estrogenic effects. On the other hand, it may have some really unwanted effects as well, because it interferes with the other hormones.
Yes. And so estrogen is predominantly a growth hormone?
Yes.
And without progesterone, which comes along every month to keep it under control, basically, doesn't it? It stops it from growing, unless we become pregnant. We don't want lots of estrogen in our body, especially xenoestrogens.
No, absolutely. I mean, men have estrogen too. Yeah. Too much estrogen in men from these xenoestrogens causes the famous moobs.
Yeah, man boobs, yeah.
You know, if their testosterone isn't high enough and their estrogen is higher, then their fat distribution changes. They get the big belly, they get the man boobs.
Yeah.
And the same thing can happen to us. It can cause our breasts to grow larger. It can also really aggravate breast pain.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way to reduce xenoestrogens is to reduce the amount of toxins we put in our body, isn't it? From, lotions and potions that we put on our skin, chemicals from pesticides from foods, perfume, nail varnish. Nail varnish is really popular, but the chemical is actually quite harmful for our hormones.
Oh, nail varnish is so bad for you. It's a real shame. I mean, there are some slightly better ones, but for the most part, just a really bad idea.
Yeah. And then we talked about water as well, didn't we? So bottled water.
Oh, yeah.
So the plastic in the bottled water.
Yes. I mean, to start with, if you must drink bottled water, then don't reuse those bottles, because even the good quality ones have things in that we want to avoid. You know, when you've left a bottle in the sun and the water starts to taste slightly off, that's the constituents from the plastic moving into the water.
Yeah.
When you've stored food in plastic, sometimes you get that really obvious plasticky taint. Same thing happening.
Yeah.
If that's happening, then when you put that in your body's reacting to it.
So avoid plastic bottles. There are glass bottles. There are stainless steel bottles. Filter your own water. Yes. Yeah, storing your food. Definitely.
I mean, there's lots of lovely glass storage vessels coming out now, and there's some really good glass bottles with silicone covers, so that if you do drop it, doesn't break. If you want something lightweight, as you said earlier, stainless steel is really useful.
Yeah, definitely. So where can people find you then?
Well, you can find me at my website, which is www.nottingham-herbalist.co.uk, or my Facebook page, which is Katherine Bellchambers, Medical Herbalist.
Fantastic. And so if anybody wants some support out there, I also have a Facebook group called Is Perimenopause, and you're quite welcome to find me on Facebook. So it's Is Perimenopause, and just ask to enter the group and I'll let you in. So thank you so much, Katherine. Just tell us again, what's your email address or your website, sorry?
It's www.nottingham-herbalist.co.uk.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.